Welcome, everyone, to this brand new edition of 5RoundMMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside my co-host, Albert Cita. Thank you all for tuning in this week, whether it be on audio format, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podomatic, wherever you get your podcasts, we are available, audio podcasts. Or if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. Got a great show for you this week. If you didn't catch it last week, go back into our archives on YouTube or on our audio files and catch our great interview with Berlin Davis, Jiu-Jitsu standout. Great interview. She's up and coming.
What a way to kick off our interview of the first of this. What season are we on? 7?
7 or 8, I think.
Yeah.
The comeback. If you guys don't remember, or if you haven't followed us for a long time, we were having interviews consistently, almost each and every week on the first run of the show. We had the likes of Bruce Buffer, Kevin Lee, Sam Alvey, Anthony Burchak, ton of fighters. We had one like almost every week, right?
Yeah.
So then we're trying to get back in that traction again too, but this time we're going to do Jiu-Jitsu because the sport has grown a lot since, right?
Yeah.
Now, since when we first started doing the podcast and to when we took our break to now we're coming back, I mean, we're seeing now Jiu-Jitsu athletes are stars in their own right. We're gonna have some professional wrestlers on here, personalities in the world of professional wrestling, and of course, gotta show our love to our mixed martial artists as well. So keep an eye out for those interviews in the next coming weeks. Again, this show is brought to you by Foxhound Fuel. Train hard, stay sharp. Go to foxhoundfuel.com. Use promo code 5MMA for 15% off your order. Get yourself a shipment, an order of the ready pre-workout, their during workout, their hydrate formula, and of course their recovery one. 3 great formulas to keep you active and fit for your pre-workout, your during workout, and your recovery. Albert, how's it going on your recovery journey? Workout journey?
Unfortunately, I ran out of my recovery, so I got to place an order ASAP. I don't know if you could tell, I was not hitting the gym hard this week, and luckily, like I had a good little boost as far as kicking my workout back up. But I really need to order some more ASAP so I can get back and hit it hard because I'm crying the next day, bro. I am crying.
So go to foxhoundfuel.com. That's promo code 5MMA to get yourself on. Get one of each, or if you just want the hydrate or the recovery or the ready one. Again, all 3 of them paired all 3 of them together. They all work great. And also, this episode is brought to you by Wildbar. Eat instinctively. All natural ingredients for energy and recovery. It's a nutrient dense like protein. It's more than a protein bar. It's a nutrient bar. It's all natural, gluten-free, keto-friendly, paleo-friendly, all natural ingredients, non-GMO. It's vegan-friendly as well. They have 3 great flavors as well, berry, cherry, and pineapple. Go to wildbar.co. Use promo code 5RoundMMA15 for 15% off your order. Again, a big thank you to Foxhound Fuel and Wildbar for sponsoring this show. Albert, we talked about your big weekend. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. How was your weekend?
It was good. My kids are still too small to appreciate me. So I didn't.
No hand paintings or macaroni necklaces or whatever
so
like that.
I got no cool little gifts to share. But I will say this: I thought it was weird, but in the same way, I guess it's kind of cool. I got a lot of Happy Father's Day, but from other fathers.
Okay. They know the struggle. Is that what it is?
I think that's what it is. Like I just thought it was cool, but it was also irony, I guess, that most of the Happy Father's Days came from other fathers,
not like other mothers that you know.
Yeah. And here's what I thought was even cooler, I guess, was instead of sending like a mass text, which guys were lazy, we just mass text. These were individual texts.
No way.
So shout out to everyone that texts me Happy Father's Day. I really do appreciate it. I did not see none of those coming, so that's awesome.
Yeah, they all know the struggle, right? What you're dealing with another year.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I just note that I was not one of those who said because
it was not.
For me, it was a regular Sunday.
Because he doesn't know the struggle yet.
For me, it was a regular Sunday, kicking back, watching Hell in a Cell by myself. So it was really cool. Again, Happy Father's Day to you, all the dads out there. I know it's not easy from what I see, from what I view, man. It's not easy, but you are part of the everyday growth of these kids, man. Congratulations on that as well. Many more to come. Oh, wow. This week's show got a lot to talk about. I just mentioned Hell in a Cell. We're going to recap and give our Dave Meltzer 5-star ratings on the event and the standout matches. We're going to talk about the legend, the GOAT, Anderson Silva dipping his toes in another sport and put on an impressive performance in the world of professional boxing. We're going to talk about also Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker are hyping up the trash talk right away. And we're going to talk about Samoa Joe returning to WWE television, if that's a preview of other released superstars are going to come. And also we're going to preview this week's UFC Fight Night event. But Albert Cita, before we get started here, let me get the timer going. Before we get that, we're going to be talking about WWE Hell in a Cell. Round number 1. Timer started now. So coming now an annual. Now the biggest debate now is this is just a gimmick pay-per-view. Yeah. There's really no point to have multiple Hell in a Cells on one pay-per-view. It does kind of take away from some of the matches because, you know, it's supposed to be a blow-off for one. That's a conversation for a different day. But your thoughts on the pay-per-view as a whole, the outcomes, any particular match stood out to you from Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view?
So, as a whole, it was a stinker to me. A straight stinker. They couldn't have used that Hell in a Cell more of a gimmick than, like, it's furious to me when the gimmick becomes the gimmick instead of somehow incorporating it as something important as far as the match. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it did its purpose. And I thought most of the matches were very boring. Mm-hmm. I hardly saw anything really entertaining. But with that said, I thought Bayley and Bianca Belair brought it. I don't know.
She's still in my thunder, bro.
It's weird because I don't know if it was a good thing that they started it or a bad thing. Because it did hype me up to watch the rest of the pay-per-view. It got the ball rolling and it got me excited. And so I was energetic, but it was a tough match to follow.
It was.
And by the time we got to Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, I was kind of over it.
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, my favorite match of the night was Bayley and Bianca Belair. They worked their butts off.
What a good match.
It was a good match. I think.
I don't know who's calling it or who's their agent. I don't know if it's Tyson Kidd. I hear Tyson's Kidd name a lot.
From all of them. It's kind of hard. They say he's doing all the women's matches. Uh-huh. But then some of them are just like awful, so I don't want to. I don't want to give him credit for the good ones, and then like not give him credit for the bad ones. So it's like I don't know what. But that was a good match.
Whoever's putting these matches together in the championship level, they're so good.
Yeah,
they're so good.
I think Bayley, she's an absolute monster of a heel. She's annoying. She's great. I love it. I'm saying like you give Bianca Belair all of the big time heels to work with.
Line them up.
Build her up. I love it. Just like they did with Hogan back in the day. Or Bret Hart. Line up all these heels. You know, have her conquer them all and just hype her up as this big star as she should be. Excellent match, I thought. Was kind of tough for Cesaro and Seth Rollins to follow that up.
Yeah.
Decent match. Not their best one.
It felt like a regular Raw match. Like, there wasn't nothing special to the match.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the finish. I thought the finish was smart. I thought it made perfect sense.
I like finishes like that.
Yeah, but the match in its whole they had a lot of bite to me.
It didn't.
And it could have been like we're saying, maybe it was just a tough match to follow after you see Bianca Belair and Bayley just go at it. Mm-hmm. I can see it being a tough match to follow, and maybe that was in my head when I was watching it. But maybe, or it could also be that Cesaro and Seth Rollins, I just have very high expectations.
That could be it too.
But the finish, I had no problem. So far, as we're going up the card, I was perfectly fine, but I was losing steam.
Yeah, I think that the match that had the biggest kind of hate online was Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler one.
Oh, bro.
I'm going to say it right now.
Bro, I didn't like nothing about that match.
I'm going to say it right now. I am enjoying this twisted Alexa Bliss 1,000 times better than anything Bray Wyatt did with the Fiend, bro.
I was like, you're treading water right
now.
No,
I like it. I'm not a big Bray Wyatt fan. Ever since he dropped the Wyatt family and came with his Fiend thing, I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I liked him better with the Wyatt family.
I was a big fan of the Wyatt family. I love the whole like psychopath
kind of cult leader
of this weird family
Jonestown
that lives in the
thing,
in the hillbillies.
Yeah,
whatever.
It totally works, but obviously they killed it and they're killing the Fiend now. But they give this gimmick to Alexa Bliss. She's doing amazing with it.
Visually, the gimmick looks good. Visually, it looks good. But dude, I don't know, bro. I was not. At the end of the day, good wrestler, bad wrestler, good mic skills, bad mic skills. They gotta entertain. I was not entertained. This literally, if I had any steam from that first match, this one kind of took it off.
I keep thinking like going back to Alexa Bliss and like saying that this is over the top and unbelievable, and all the smarks out there are just trashing it. But then I keep thinking to back when I was a kid and the Undertaker was rising from the dead, got the power from the urn, and I ate that up as an 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old. And I'm thinking, there has to be other 8, 9, 10-year-olds who are eating this up.
But here's the thing, though. Remember Gonzaga, and he came on that fur thing? I thought it was so stupid. I thought it was as
the Giant Gonzalez, you mean? Yeah.
I was a kid, and I looked, I was like, dude, that is so stupid. It's so, stupid, I mean, you can't say like, I mean, as a kid, even I was like, dude, what is
ridiculous.
that? Yeah.
We're going over again, too, but I think I do appreciate Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre working their butts off. They did. They beat the crap out of each other in that match. I just think that I don't want to see them wrestle each other. I don't even want to see them in the same ring for the rest of the year.
Yeah, maybe they've been watered down as a match. And like I told you, what purpose did the Hell in a Cell what was the purpose of the Hell in a Cell in that match?
Other than just to end it, because now McIntyre lost, so he can't get another title shot.
They could have done that in a regular match. Like the Hell in a Cell had no meaning. It was just literally a gimmick.
Oh yeah, well that's a problem with WWE as a whole.
I don't know. It just like when Mankind and Undertaker used to use the Hell in a Cell. The Hell in a Cell had a purpose. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't think of that many Hell in a Cell matches in my head right now, but I like it when it serves a purpose. When Undertaker and Kane did the Inferno match, as ridiculous as it sounds, there was a purpose to the fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it went to the story of him being burned. Yeah. But hopefully now, I think as we speak, they're doing the Money in the Bank qualifying matches. So that's another like a side ways that McIntyre can get a title shot against Bobby Lashley. Because hopefully Lashley's reign continues to go further. They're kind of teasing something with Kofi Kingston and MVP. If you've been watching Raw for a couple weeks, I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. MVP's kind of getting in the head of Kofi and say, hey man, you could have been great. Now you're just kind of basically just jumping around like a Power Ranger. Side door is McIntyre wins Money in the Bank, or the draft is coming up. He goes to SmackDown, which I think is probably better for him anyways. You get Roman versus McIntyre. I'll take that over the summer and the fall. That'd be kind of good to see and get some fresh blood for Bobby Lashley to wrestle, because I think Brock's not going to come back anytime soon. But overall, give me your on the pay-per-view as a whole. You said it was a stinker, but we do the 5-star Meltzer rating system here. How many stars?
2.5.
I'll go with 3.5 on mine.
I was going to give it a solid 3 until when we got to the last match, I was sleepy. I had to.
Are we going to blame Kevin Owens for that one?
Maybe, but I'm just saying I was sleepy at the end, so it's a 2.5 for me.
All right, that's it for round number 1. We're going to come back and switch gears, talk about Anderson Silva and his venture into the world of professional boxing coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 2. This past weekend, Anderson Silva partook in his first official kind of boxing match. Exhibition is 8-rounder against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It was at 185.
No, because
184 or something like that.
He came. Julio Cesar Chavez came in at 185, missing the weight by 2 pounds. So they should have. I think it was 183.
183. So it was
or 182. Maybe
a big exhibition. The senior Chavez fought as well, but they actually wore like helmets and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that one was a straight up exhibition. There's no judges on that one. There's no scoring card. Just like the Mike Tyson fight where they were pretty much fighting for a draw. Either you get a KO or you get a draw.
Yeah.
Same thing like Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. So the headgear, I think, was because of the age. That's the only way they were going to allow it, because there was a huge age gap between them. And I think that was the only way they allowed that.
Yeah. So, but the co-main event was Cesar Chavez Jr. and Anderson Silva. A little more competitive. Vintage Anderson Silva was dancing, taunting Chavez Jr. Give me a show. He really performed. He's a performer at heart, I think. Anderson Silva wins via decision or split decision, or he won one decision. I like how people, Albert, you're a bigger boxing fan than I am, but we both know this as kind of combat sports fans and also being, of Mexican descent, that people are saying Anderson Silva did the MMA community proud by beating Cesar Chavez Jr. But give us a lowdown on Chavez Jr. and his career as a professional boxer because
Yeah.
him beating is not that much of a accomplishment, right?
No, matter of fact, a lot of people know Cesar Chavez Jr. as someone that never brings it. Some guy that lacks training, lacks discipline, lacks heart for the sport, and he quits a lot. And you can see it in his performance that he was lazy in training camp. That's what he's known for. A lot of people know him for that.
So he's basically he's living off his dad's name, right?
I hate to say that, but in a way he is. And if you just look at his from 2019 until present, his record's something like 2-3 or 3-2. It's not an impressive record. It wasn't like the guy was still excelling in boxing. He's been on his way out.
Yeah.
And again, like I told you, he's known to not really be passionate about these fights. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he didn't want to cut those last 2 pounds and he'd rather give up 100K shows you, like, to me, that's lack of discipline, lack of motivation, lack of everything. And I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for a lot of people when they talk about Chavez Jr.
Yeah. So what about Anderson Silva? He said like he didn't want to what do you say? Didn't say, yeah, I'm going to pursue this kind of full-time boxing. He's like, I love training. I train every day anyways. He didn't want to make any promises post-fight. But do you see Anderson Silva boxing again at more exhibitions? Or do you see him – who do you see him next? Is a celebrity boxer? I think one of the Paul brothers said he'd love to have him on the undercard of the Woodley fight. Do you kind of see him doing a quick turnaround, doing that Roy Jones Jr. fight? Or
that's what I'm saying, 100%. For the longest, he's been wanting to box Roy Jones Jr. For the longest. I think it makes more sense to be on the undercard of Mike Tyson's next card. So whoever Mike Tyson's, the rumor was Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. I'm not quite sure because I haven't really seen a confirmed fight. But whatever he picks, the undercard should be Anderson Silva versus Roy Jones Jr., especially since they both fought each other. Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fought each other in their last event. And it just makes sense to me. And I think that's something people can get behind, especially now that Anderson Silva has a win. Roy Jones Jr. looked good against Mike Tyson. It just makes a lot of sense. But I do want to point out for the people out there that are just calling Anderson Silva a straight up MMA fighter, just so you guys know, he did boxing prior to this exhibition bout or match, boxing match. He did, I think, 2 fights in boxing before. He did kickboxing. So for people to say like a straight up MMA fighter fought Chavez is also a wrong narrative. The guy did box before. I think he had 1 loss, 1 win prior to this in boxing. We all know he did Muay Thai and
he's a striker at heart.
So yeah, so stop with that right off the bat. But before the round ends, the best thing that makes sense to me is Roy Jones Jr. And in all honesty, now that De La Hoya is fighting Vitor Belfort, it makes sense too if De La Hoya beats Vitor and Anderson has a competitive or beats Roy Jones Jr., that you see that matchup. I mean, there's a lot of...
Wait, Vitor versus Anderson Silva?
No, Vitor versus De La Hoya.
That's happening already, yeah.
What?
No, that's happening already. Vitor versus De La Hoya.
Yeah. I'm saying if De La Hoya wins,
yeah,
right, and Silva has a good performance against Roy Jones Jr.
You want De La Hoya versus Anderson Silva?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to...
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm saying I like these mixes better. Let's say for some crazy reason Vitor wins. You run it with Anderson Silva in boxing.
In a boxing match?
Yeah, there's a good little mixture you can do here now that we have something to play with. Heck, I'm not even lying to you. Run it back. Chavez Jr. versus Anderson Silva. Run the ring match back.
I like it. And honestly, we're entering new territories now where we're seeing that generation of fighters who are retiring but who are still in good shape. Anderson Silva says, I train every day. Vitor Belfort, what do you want to say? TRT, nor TRT. He still trains every day. These guys are in the gym. They're still practicing. Might as well find ways to make money if it's an exhibition style.
I think until these guys show that they get visually beat in the ring or get knocked out cold, they should keep going.
Yeah, it's a fair fight too. It's like
I'm not saying go face Canelo. You know what I'm saying? All these guys are in about the same age group, same meter,
skill set level where they are right now. Again, so Albert and I come from a Parks and Recreation background.
Yeah.
So
we're around adult sports all the
We've
time.
done adult sports, and a lot of leagues have an 18 to 25 age, the 45 and older age, because it's very competitive. So,
and I will say this to just to show you, for our background. when we see a college ball player play in the adult league, there's a big difference, bro.
Yeah.
This guy looks like he's an NBA player against a bunch of peewee guys. So there is levels to this game.
So I say, as long as they're all safe, keep it coming. I'm sure gonna watch. I'm not gonna watch any YouTube celebrity guys fight each other, but I'm gonna watch old school combat sports athletes who are gonna safely do it. I'll watch it any day of the week. That's it for round number 2. We're gonna switch gears, talk about active and competitive in their prime combat sports athletes talking trash ahead of their matchup. Coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 3. We're going to talk about this trash talk already starting early between Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya. Now, it's pretty much confirmed that Robert Whittaker is going to be next in line for the style bender to challenge for the middleweight championship of the UFC. No official date has been set yet, but it's going to happen. I think Izzy wants to happen in New Zealand. Kind of the home crowd for both of them. That's going to be a massive fight, I think. It could be
lit,
a national holiday, I think, for the whole continent of Australia. But Robert Whittaker's come with the fire. He said, I don't know where it came from, where he said it at, but he basically said that Izzy is not a god. He didn't look good against Marvin Vettori. He saw some holes in the game. He saw that Izzy can be touched up, and it's going to be different the second time they fought. But what I thought was really key, go back over to that quote, is that Robert Whittaker said he's definitely not a god and not even as good as he thinks he is. To which Izzy responded, "If I'm not as good as I think I am, what does that make you?" In reference to the beating he gave Robert Whittaker. But the fact that Robert Whittaker put that Izzy thinks himself as a god, or kind of put that on there, I mean, that Izzy's supposed to be pretty good, right?
And then here's the other one that Izzy replied to.
He said on Twitter, he's all, Izzy, I might not be a god to you, but I baptize you. # Jesus.
Jesus.
That's spelled JEZUS. I like it. Come with the fire already,
dude.
man.
I love it. First of all, for all you Botchamania fans, that's what it reminds me of in the little intro. Jesus.
A little random promo.
Woo! When you're a champion, I expect championship level smack talk.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Connor has spoiled me rotten when it comes to the smack talk, and Izzy, bring in that Twitter fire. Dude, I love it. Robert Whittaker isn't known to talk smack.
Exactly. I was going to say, he's kind of always kind of calm. I'm going.
Yeah. So something Izzy had previously said must have really got to him or like upset him or felt the need to respond to it, because this is unlike Robert Whittaker. He usually stays out of it. It does his thing. Face off. Let's fight. Boom, boom, boom. So this is interesting, but it's all for the good. Yeah. I can already hear the tickets being sold, and it hasn't even been
officially announced yet. There's no poster yet or anything like that.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I like it. Dude, Izzy championship level, bro. Smack talking and in the fight.
And I know Izzy rubs me the wrong way the way he acts in the ring. Obviously, when he rode Paulo Costa after that,
or when he grabbed a good chunk of,
he gave a nice smack on the butt and a nice chunk of wiggle on Marvin Vettori, and then towards the end of the fight, when Vettori was just kind of knee or elbowing his thighs, he kind of fell down and was pretending to be hurt. Uh-huh. So obviously that rubs people the wrong way, the old school mentality of, you show respect 100% of the time. But sometimes these guys come in hard against Izzy, man. They talk trash about him big time. And how do you expect him to react to that?
I was going to say that too. Some people try to go hard on Izzy, but Izzy's like, dude, I could go just as hard, if not more.
And then I'm going to beat you in the octagon and do it.
Yeah, and then, see, that's the scary thing. When someone talks smack, but then when it comes down to it, he shows it, and then he embarrasses you on top of it. Yeah. So that's bad. It's funny. I saw a couple of other previous tweets. Do you remember the one where he had pink hair and hearts, and everyone's all talking smack about him? Like, man, Izzy's sus. Oh, yeah. Whatever. And then it's funny because recently he posted with I don't know if it's his girlfriend, fiance, or what, but this beautiful woman next to him while he's taking a bath. So man, Izzy's just he's becoming the GOAT. in all categories.
I think he's taking over Henry Cejudo's cringe social media king status, right? Because Henry Cejudo was pretty cringe with those over the top tweets, but Izzy's getting up on that level.
Not to stray too far apart, but did you see how Henry Cejudo proposed to his fiance?
I saw it was like a balloon, wasn't it?
Well, the whole thing was cringe because it was supposed to be a baby reveal thing.
Yeah,
and then it turned out it wasn't, and then instead he proposed. But
I saw the captions. Yeah, I bent the knee or something like that.
Yeah, but then he gave a weird speech prior to that, and like it kind of felt awkward because he pops the balloon, nothing comes out. He asks for the mic, he talks for a while, and then he proposes. I think the pacing could have been fixed there.
Leave it to Henry Cejudo to cut a promo on his fiance, or his girlfriend who he's going to propose to.
Yeah, Izzy just bring the fire. I like it. It's all fun and games. It's a very fine line to this trash talking. I think it's good.
Yeah, no, we're just starting off too. Like I said, the fight hasn't even officially been announced yet, and these guys are just getting started. I can't imagine when the in-person press conferences are there, or when there's interviews with both of them, it's going to get hot really quick. That's it for round number 3. We're going to take a small break, come back, talk about Samoa Joe returning to WWE television and what that means for maybe other formerly released superstars or prior released superstars maybe making their way back to the WWE. Don't go anywhere. That's coming up next.
5 Round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 4. We're switching gears, talking about the world of professional wrestling. Last Tuesday on NXT, Samoa Joe made his return to WWE television. After being released in April after WrestleMania. Nothing for him. Given his future endeavors. People were pissed. The internet wrestling community was justice for Joe. Can't wait for him to see him in AEW. He's going to tear it up, go back to Impact. Even Impact kind of teased him coming back.
And Slammiversary.
2 months later, he's back on NXT as an assistant to the general manager or something like that. And there's a stipulation to where he can't harm or touch any of the NXT talent unless they physically provoke him. So he can. That's why he kind of choked out Adam Cole at the end because Adam Cole provoked him, which I thought was kind of cool. And I guess he's still not medically cleared to wrestle, but that might be coming in the near future. But as of right now, he's going to be a reoccurring character on NXT, not on Raw, not on SmackDown, but on NXT, and maybe wrestle future down the line, a la Finn Balor. Remember NXT standout, main roster, didn't really cut out. Came back to NXT now, former champion, stuff like that. Your thoughts on seeing Samoa Joe back, on his role currently, and do you see him wrestling, and did you see him staying in NXT and even going back to the main roster anytime soon?
So, right off the bat, the big thing to note here is it was Triple H who thought it was a bad idea that they let Samoa Joe go. Because apparently Triple H is the one that pulled the strings and brought Joe back.
Yeah.
It's what you read in the dirt sheets,
right.
at least.
At least
that's what you read in the dirt sheets. So I guess as long as you're in the good graces of the H-Man, you're good. But with that said, I don't see him. If he is going to wrestle, it's going to be a bunch of one-offs. I don't see them using him wrestling heavy. I think it's, in all honesty, I feel Triple H is the only one aware of what's going on outside of WWE. Like that really knows what's going on.
It does seem that way sometimes.
Yeah,
right?
And he knows that Joe just wants to end his career and get paid, and he knows that it's to WWE's benefit to keep someone like Samoa Joe, knowing that if he does go to back to Impact or AEW or even New Japan, they're gonna push him to the moon. And if he's a needle mover,
at least right away.
Yeah, that's what, but either needle mover or not, he's going to be a big value to these companies. And I think he's the only one that recognizes that. That's why I think he has nothing. He didn't pick Braun Strowman or anybody else because he kind of knows that these other guys aren't going to get pushed to the moon. Samoa Joe has a lot of respect with these guys, the boys. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you watch wrestling, you know who the boys are, right? Samoa Joe has.
He's a good brother.
Yeah, he's a really good brother. So I think Triple H acknowledges that and knows he's a value. Same thing as Finn Balor. I think the only reason Finn Balor's in NXT was he felt like the pulse and was like, you know what? I don't think they're feeling him, but he's better here than over there because I know he's a good brother and they're going to push him to the moon. He knows it. The only other person I see in this category is Shinsuke Nakamura. Where I think WWE does
King Nakamura.
I don't think WWE clearly sees what they have, but Triple H does, and I see him doing the same thing if they ever, for some odd reason, cut Nakamura. He'd be like, no, bro. He's better off. Let him just stay here because he's better. Trust me. In the long run, it's better for us to keep the valuable guys over there. Do I see it happening to more wrestlers? No. I only see a very slim handful. People like Matt Riddle. I potentially see Keith Lee be one of them. If they let him go, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought him back. The key thing here is they had to go through NXT. Mm-hmm. 2, they got to be a good brother.
Yeah.
And those are the reasons why I think Triple H will go out of his way and kind of keep him there. If it's not in that category, I don't think there's a reason to keep him.
I also think too, it says something too that Joe took this deal and said, you know what? No, I'm gonna wait out my 90 days and see what AEW, what Impact is gonna offer me. You know what? No, I'm gonna come back to NXT to WWE because maybe it's that relationship with Triple H that, you know what?
I heard he's a good talker. If you sit in a room with Triple H, I heard it by the end of the room, you guys are best buds and you're coming over to the barbecue.
And I think it's because, you know, he's a wrestler, lifeline, and also he's a wrestling fan.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of stuff people need to put in their heads. One, it's still the WWE. Don't ever forget that.
It's all the luxuries of the WWE.
Yeah,
too.
it's still the WWE. It is the top company. No matter what you say, how you try to spin it, they're the number one company at the end of the day. The other part is some of these guys already had their good matches or their best work is behind them already. Mm. I don't think Samoa Joe can do anything better than he did 5 to 6 years ago
in TNA.
In TNA
with AJ Styles, with Christopher Daniels, with Kurt Angle, all those guys.
I feel like he got it out of his system. That what is he? In all honesty, what does Samoa Joe have to prove at his age? Nothing. He already did his grind. He already did his best work. He already had phenomenal matches. So come on.
Yeah, I don't think him going to Impact and recapturing the title there will stamp his legacy even further. I don't even think him going to AEW and becoming an AEW champion will cement his legacy even further as one of the greatest. You know, it's just you want to make it at the top, NXT or at WWE. That's no matter how you cut it, it's the granddaddy of them all. It's the biggest wrestling organization in the world. If you can succeed there, you could probably succeed anywhere. So I think it's good on him that he has his role. Like you said, Triple H seeing the value in that. Triple H, I think people underestimate. I never was a Triple H fan as a wrestler. You see what he's done post this, but he's obviously a wrestling fan, and as a wrestling fan, I appreciate that if more than anything again with Triple H. So, and do you maybe see a lot of people saying too? I know we're going along again. Is that these recent cuts were done because so they could restructure the contract. Now, I don't think they're gonna try and restructure maybe Buddy Murphy's contract, you know what I mean? But these big top guys, maybe Samoa Joe is making too much money to commentate every Monday.
Which
let's restructure.
At the end of the day, it makes sense. Imagine you find out Taz is getting paid more than some of the talent that's wrestling. I mean, I don't think that goes.
Same thing with Braun. Is Braun worth $900,000 a year, $1 million a year? No,
I don't even think he's worth. I heard somewhere like 20, 25,000 to indie book him.
And
I'm good, bro. I'd rather get the Boogeyman. Yeah. Boogeyman he's gonna fill up my seats.
Yeah.
Regardless.
You know what? If you're gonna book it now, I want Ryback versus Braun Strowman. All right, that's it for round number 4. We got one more round coming up next. We're gonna preview the UFC Fight Night, a big time heavyweight matchup. That's kind of a sleeper matchup, I think. We'll preview that coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Time for round number 5, fifth and final round. UFC Fight Night takes place this Saturday, right, Albert? I got the date in front of me. This Saturday.
Yep.
Ciryl Gane versus Alexander Volkov, big time heavyweight matchup, which is right on the cusp of. Has it been announced yet? Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. It hasn't been officially announced yet, right?
It hasn't. That's the crazy part. It hasn't been announced.
So we're all just assuming that that's going to be next for Francis Ngannou, the heavyweight champion of the world, right?
Yeah, I think that seems to be the consensus.
Yeah, consensus. Yep.
But nothing has been stamped, approved, or whatever. I mean, usually we see a poster by now.
This is going back to the fight night. Gane versus Volkov.
Yeah, this Saturday, June 26th.
I think if Volkov demolishes Gane, I think he might force his way into the conversation, man, because this dude's a sleeper. He basically butchered Alistair Overeem's face. Almost 7 feet tall. Dangerous dude. I know he has a loss to Derek Lewis, I think.
Yeah.
Or Curtis Blades, I think, too. He has a couple, I think. Losses of Blade, or one of the two, I think.
Curtis Blades, I think something weird happened with that match. I'll look it up right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure he has a loss against Derek Lewis. But if Derek Lewis isn't there, you got to go with Volkov. He's coming off 2 impressive wins. He has a win over Harris and Overeem back to back. So he has all the steam in the world right now. But did he lose to Blades?
He lost to Curtis Blades. It was a decision. So, right. Yeah. And then he has a win over Greg Hardy. This is
but Curtis Blades lost his steam with that loss to Derek Lewis
and
as well.
He actually suffered a knockout loss to Derek Lewis back in 2018 in the deep in the third round, actually. Uh-huh. So this is a dude, he's not easy to finish. Yeah. Derek Lewis finished him, but it was deep in the third round. And then he loses a decision to Curtis Blades. I don't know, man. I think if he does good on Saturday, you talk him in there. It's a fresh matchup.
Yeah.
With Ngannou. Why not? I like Volkov. So
no, I 100% agree. Just the fact that for some reason they can't get this fight done with Derek Lewis. I don't see another option. It has to be one of these guys. Yeah. And I think Volkov's gonna be the guy.
Yeah, I think so too. And for Gane, 8-0, even if he does win, I don't think he's getting a title. He might claim for a title shot. He was claiming for a title shot after you beat Rosenstruck. Uh-huh. You're 8-0, bro. It's not gonna happen. And
I think
it was decision win over Rosenstruck too.
I was gonna say, Curtis Blades is the gatekeeper. If you can't go through Blades, bro, I don't think you can go through the championship.
Yeah, I think so too. But kind of, I really hope that they're not still holding out for the John Jones to kind of make some sense and just announce the Derek Lewis fight, right? They're already kind of having these live matchups. I mean, Texas is being proven as a state that's going to allow sporting events to have max capacity. Derek Lewis is from Houston. Why not have it? Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou in Houston. See what happens, man. Either way, the Texas crowd is going to go home happy because they're going to cheer both guys after the fight. Anyway, it's going to be a knockout for either one. But this is a heavyweight sleeper. If you guys didn't know about this fight, put it on your calendars. Watch it. At least the main event. Yeah. I think it's going to be really good.
And then this is just a warm up to Conor McGregor,
which is right after this one, right?
Yeah.
Any other fights on this card?
I was actually looking at it. I mean, to tell you the truth, there's not much meat into this match. No disrespect to any of these fighters, but I'm keeping it real. Alvin St. Pierre, OSP is the co-main event. He's always an exciting fighter, but the stock isn't quite there. Other notable names, Andre Philly, but the stock isn't there. Yeah. You go to the prelims, there's some notable names, but again, I mean, Tim Means is in there. That's it, bro. Yancey. There's not a lot of stock in here.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? Whenever I feel like as a MMA community as a whole, when they say these cards don't have that much juice in them, they usually are the best cards.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
We see a lot of knockouts, a lot of exciting finishes.
A lot of finishes.
Sure. And it's for some reason. So like you said, it's free. Don't miss it because
at least for the heavyweight bout.
Yeah, at least for heavyweight bout. But like always, we come up here. We say, you know what? There's not enough meat and potatoes in this card, and then all of a sudden, the next FiveRoundMMA, we're yelling our head off because we saw 5 amazing knockouts, 3 incredible submissions, a back and forth war.
Yeah, I think when Albert says that, when I agree with him about there's no meat and potatoes on this card, it's really more as far as
notoriety,
and also moving the story forward.
Yeah.
Like, if OSP wins, he's not going to get a title shot. Or whoever beats him. That's what we're talking about, like, the next main event. Okay, this person wins, they're main event the next one. Or it's a title shot implication. That's what we kind of talk about here because we only have 5 minutes to each run. The reason why we focus on those fights is because those are needle movers. Those are going to be, moving forward. if Volkov wins, I think you throw him right in the heavyweight discussion, which is why we kind of spent more time on that fight anyways. But that doesn't mean there's going to be great fights on this card.
Yeah.
So go ahead. It's Saturday night. It's free on ESPN, or if you subscribe to ESPN Plus, or get the Disney package, Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney.
The only other
Disney
thing
Plus.
going on Saturday is, other than my son's birthday, is Tank is going to face Barrows in a boxing match on Showtime. Pay-per-view though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
wow.
that's actually a big matchup.
Yeah.
So if you like spending some money, that's a good boxing match too.
Multiple streaming platforms. That's it for this week on 5-Round MMA. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, make sure to keep update with us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at 5-Round MMA. It's FIVE Round MMA. A big, huge thank you to our sponsors, Foxhound Fuel. Train hard, stay sharp. Go to foxhoundfuel.com. Use promo code 5MMA for 15% off your order. That's the number 5MMA. Get yourself some ready pre-workout powder, some during hydration powder, and some recovery post-workout powder to get the most out of your exercises and stay healthy. Train hard, stay sharp. Foxhoundfuel.com. And a big thank you to Wildbar. Eat instinctively, all natural ingredients for energy and recovery. Nutrition bars, no refined sugars, non-GMO, gluten-free, natural, paleo, vegan friendly, all that good stuff. Go to wildbar.co and use promo code 5RoundMMA15. That's FIVE Round MMA, the number 15 for 15% off your order. That way it lets them both know that we sent you there. Helps us out, helps them out, helps you out, helps everybody out. Again, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos on YouTube. We're also available wherever you get your audio podcasts. Apple Podcasts, leave us a comment and rating. Spotify, Podomatic. Again, anywhere you get your audio podcast. Thank you all for tuning in this week. We'll see you guys next week. Albert, what do you got?
I just want to tell everybody, I've been saying every week, if you want to find out about Foxhound Fuel, they do free packets. And they give it to you for free. Delivery for free. So I don't understand why you wouldn't try it.
Nothing to lose, people.
Exactly. And the second thing is, if you're in the FIG community, woo, it's getting on fire. Super 7 signed a contract with Power Rangers. We're going to see some killer figures. Ninja Turtle just signed a contract with some other company. We got some figures coming now. You can pre-order. Bro, I wish we had a FIG podcast
next week,
because I'm blowing up
next week
on what's coming out.
Next week, before we start, remind me to talk about the figs before we start the rounds. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
if we get positive feedback, then maybe we'll talk about a FIG podcast. How about that?
Yeah, the community is blowing up, bro.
All right,
but yeah, and before I forget, make sure you leave a 5-star review if you're going to leave one. And yeah, thanks everybody for listening.
See you guys next week.
Thanks for tuning in.